This is the brand new Canyon from FMS Model. It's a ready to run 1/10 scale crawler with some cool bells and whistles, so let's see what it has to offer. The Lexan body on the Canyon resembles a Dubai police SUV and actually comes blank out of the box. Both sets of graphics that are available for this truck are included, allowing you to choose whichever style you prefer. The entire top of this body is actually hard plastic, and it has a couple of roof rails as well as some light buckets peeking out the front and rear just above the windows. The rest of the body includes some other molded plastic details throughout, such as a front grille, front and rear light buckets, windshield wipers, side mirrors, door handles, and even these push bar looking things that are built into the front and rear. Through these clear windows, there's a pretty detailed Lexan interior that includes some decals, a driver figure, a molded plastic steering wheel, and a little gear shifter. The Canyon also comes equipped with a basic light kit out of the box. We have some headlights, turn signals, and functioning brake lights that are all plugged into an LED light controller hidden under the body. The lights can be controlled with the Channel 6 rocker switch on the transmitter. This model comes with a rebranded FlySky 11-channel radio system. I've worked a decent amount with this setup and it's actually really nice. My only complaint besides the plastic steering wheel is that the Channel 3 and 4 buttons are pretty easy to accidentally press. And we'll talk about what those buttons do a little later. This body is mounted with a very unique clipless design that utilizes a twist lock system at each end of the vehicle. Twisting the knobs just behind the front and rear bumpers releases the body, allowing these little spring-loaded posts to pop the body off of the vehicle. 3 magnets are located in the rear to connect the light kit, so you don't have to worry about unplugging anything when you take the body off. I did notice that the front of the body was kind of difficult to latch at times because it hit the bumper, so you might want to trim some of that extra Lexan off the edges for more clearance if you run into the same issue. Underneath the body, the FMS Canyon looks to be a rebranded Yikong YK4106 Pro. This platform has been out for a little while now, but it's still pretty unique and has some cool features that we'll discuss in just a second. It's powered by a Hobbywing 1060 ESC that's waterproof and 2 to 3S capable. The on and off switch is mounted actually underneath the vehicle in a bit of an odd spot, so hopefully it doesn't get hit by any rocks. In the box, there's a little jumper that can be plugged into the ESC to change your throttle, brake, and reverse settings. You can also adjust the ESC's drag brake on the fly with the Channel 11 knob on the transmitter, which is convenient. The ESC is paired with a 32-turn brushed motor that's mounted to a Metal Gear 2-speed transmission towards the front of the truck. To steer the Canyon, there's a Metal Gear servo up front with an aluminum servo horn that's connected to basically an entire shock absorber. This shock absorber is supposed to act as a servo saver, which is a very interesting decision for a crawler like this. Now, in high gear, it will help prevent the steering servo from stripping out, but when you're crawling, you're definitely going to lose some steering control. It's a neat concept, but I'm not sure if this vehicle is the best place for it. I guess we'll just have to find out. 4 other servos can be found throughout the Canyon. These 2 on the passenger side are for the remote locking differentials, which can be controlled with the Channel 7 and Channel 8 buttons on the transmitter. The servos are connected to the axles with cables, allowing you to independently lock the front and rear diffs. This servo next to the battery tray is controlled by the Channel 3 button and shifts the 2-speed transmission into high and low gear. The last servo, just above the rear axle, engages the dig function that this truck is advertised to have. When this servo is activated with the Channel 4 button on the radio, it locks up the right or left rear tire as you turn in that direction, allowing the vehicle to pivot. However, a dig usually locks up the entire rear axle of the vehicle in order to pivot, so this is actually more of a cutting brake. This is done with a full cable and disc brake setup behind the 2 rear wheels. As the servo turns, it pulls the cables to lock up the brakes accordingly. Besides that, the Canyon is based on a unique plastic chassis design instead of your typical steel ladder frame setup. It comes with fender wells on all 4 corners, threaded aluminum shocks, and metal links all around. It sits on a set of soft tires that closely resemble the Proline high racks. They're glued onto some plastic turbofan style wheels, which mount on metal 12mm hexas. They give you a little cross wrench in the box as well to remove the wheel nuts. This truck does have portal axles underneath it with metal gears inside. The portal boxes were pretty dry when I opened them up, so you might want to throw some extra grease in them. The battery tray sits in the middle of the vehicle and is actually large enough to fit those extra long battery packs for vehicles like the Traxxas UDR. FMS includes a little plastic piece that can be installed in the tray to run standard size packs, as well as shorty packs. Overall, this FMS Canyon drives pretty well. The tires are very soft and grippy. I mean, this tread design is proven, so it's not that much of a surprise, but they're definitely a solid tire to have out of the box. The suspension is nice and smooth as well. The weight of the body really makes the shocks soak up the bumps at speed, so I was having a blast running this truck in high gear over the terrain. However, the heavier body of course raises the center of gravity. It's tough to have a super detailed body without giving up some performance. Like most of the detailed trail trucks on the market, I think switching the body would really improve the performance, but that kind of defeats the purpose. As expected, the shock absorber that's connected to the steering servo does cause you to lose some control on the rocks. If you're just planning to mess around with this truck in your backyard, it's really not a big deal. However, if you're looking to compete with this truck in any capacity, the servo saver is not ideal. I also found that the cutting brake really only works on lower traction surfaces because the tires would never completely stop when I tested it on pavement. The truck is able to make it over a decent amount of obstacles with the diffs open, but it's obviously better to have the diffs locked. I speed tested the Canyon with a GPS strapped to it and got 3 miles per hour in low gear and 5 miles per hour in high gear on a 2S LiPo. On 3S, the truck still went 3 miles per hour in low gear, but it was able to reach 8 miles per hour in high gear. So there is a pretty noticeable difference between high and low gear, which is good. Let me know what you think of this new FMS Canyon down in the comments, and check out one of these videos if you enjoyed watching.